Good morning, students. This is for AC 4th semester. Today I am going to discuss very fundamental and conceptual terms related to probability. That is introduction to probability. So first is probability theory. Probability theory is a branch of mathematics concerned with the analysis of random phenomena, random or non-deterministic phenomena. Non-deterministic means which can't be easily determined or find out by using some mathematical equations or a lookup rule. The outcome of a random event cannot be determined before it occurs, but it may be any one of several possible outcomes. The actual outcome is considered to be determined by chance. Now next is Venn diagram. In Venn diagram, it is a diagram representing mathematically or logical sets pictorially as circles or closed curves within an enclosing circle or rectangular, that is a universal set. Common elements of the sets being represented by intersection of the circles. So the sets are represented by closed plane figures, and the elements of a set are represented by points inside the enclosed plane. Now how does the Venn diagram work? A Venn diagram enables students to organize information visually, so they are able to see the relationship between two or three sets of items. They can then identify similarities, differences. So the Venn diagram consists of overlapping circles. Each circle contains all the elements of a set. Now in this example, A is a set that contains 5 values, that is 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. These are the elements of set, and curly braces denote a list of elements in a set. Now in Venn diagram, the sets are represented by shapes, usually circles or ovals. The elements of a set are labeled within the circle, that is 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. Next is representation of universal set using Venn diagram. First is Venn diagram for sets having common elements. If two sets having some elements common between them, then Venn diagram includes overlapping loops representing the two sets. Now first is A set having values 1, 3, 5, 7, 8 and 9. B set contains 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But in these two sets, 5, 7, 8 having common elements. Next is Venn diagram representing a subset. Suppose A set having values 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 and B contains 3, 5 and 7. Using Venn diagram, 3, 5, 7 is also contained by A. So the set B is subset of A. This is set B and this whole is set A. So B is subset of set A. Now next is Venn diagram to represent mutually exclusive sets. Mutually exclusive. First is A set, that is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11 elements, and B contains 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. According to Venn diagram, this is set A and this is set B. Now mutually exclusive means both the sets does not have any common elements between them. So both are mutually exclusive sets. Next is Venn diagram for various operations. First is subtraction. Subtraction is, that is V minus A. So this shaded portion represents B minus A. Next is union of sets A union B. Now for example, A having 4 elements, that is 1 2 3 4, and B is having 4 elements 6 7 8 10. To find the union of two sets, we look at all the elements in the two sets together. A union B means A plus B. So A union B is all the elements contained in A and B, that is 1 2 3 4 6 7 8 10. So both the circles have been shaded to show the union of these two sets. Next is intersection of two sets, that is A intersection B. Intersection of two sets is all the elements they have in common. We need to find the elements that are common in both the sets. So draw a picture of two overlapping circles. The elements that are common to both sets will be placed in the middle part where the circle overlaps. So this is A intersection B, because here circle on the left represent set A and circle on the right represent set B. The shaded portion in the middle is what they have in common, that is their intersection. So in union of two sets is the set obtained by combining the elements of each, but in intersection of two sets is all the elements they have in common. Last operation is complement. Complement of set A. Complement of set A. This is set A. Rest all is complement of A in the whole subset A. Set A S. Next is important definitions in probability theory. First is random experiment. An experiment is called as random experiment if the outcome of the experiment cannot be predicted precisely, or an experiment is a physical situation whose outcome can't be predicted until it is observed. For example, tossing a coin, rolling a die, or drawing a card from a deck. Second is sample space. Sample space means is a set of possible outcomes of a random experiment. So sample space is defined as a collection of all possible separately unidentifiable outcomes of a random experiment. Each outcome in the sample space is called as an element or sample point. For example, sample space of tossing a coin will be this, that is S is equal to head and tail, having only two elements or two sample points for tossing a coin. Next is event. Event is a set of outcomes meeting some specifications, also defined as the expected subset of the sample space. First event is null sure event, that is also called certain event. It is a set of all the possible outcomes of an experiment, that is called sure event or certain event. Second one is null event or impossible event. If the number of sample points in the in the set corresponding to an event is 0, then it is said to be null event or impossible event. Next one is elementary event. In elementary event, if the set corresponding to an event is we can say set corresponding to an event contain only one sample point. The next is complement of an event. In this it contains all those sample points which are not in set A. Suppose we want to calculate the complement of an event A, That means a complement of A contains all those values or elements, or we can say sample points, which are not in A. Next is union of events, that is A union B or A plus B. Suppose we have A set that contains 3 elements 1, 3, 5, and B set again contains 3 values 2, 4, 6. A union means B means the union of two sets having all the elements of A and B, that is A union B, combining all the elements of A and B. Then A union B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is union of events. Next is intersection of events A intersection B. For example, we have A set that contains 3 values 1, 3, 5, and B also contains 3 elements, that is 2, 4, 6. A intersection B means contains only the common elements or points in A and B, but there is no common element between A and B. So A intersection B is null event. So also A intersection B is equal to B intersection A. Next is disjoint or mutually exclusive events. If the intersection of two events, that suppose A and B have 2 events, is a null event, they are said to be mutually exclusive or disjoint events. That means event A and B cannot occur simultaneously. Next is what is probability. Probability is the measure of the likelihood that an event will occur in a random experiment. So probability is quantified as a number between 0 and 1, where loosely speaking 0 indicates impossibility and 1 indicates certainty. The higher the probability of an event, the more likely it is that the event will occur. For example, a simple example is the tossing of a unbiased coin. Since the coin is fair, the two outcomes, that is head and tail, are both equally probable. The probability of heads equal the probability of tails, and since no other outcome are possible, so the probability of either head or tail is 1 by 2, which could also be written as 0.5 or 50%. So the formula of probability is probability of A is equal to NA by capital N. NA is number of outcomes belonging to event A, and capital N is number of possible outcomes. Also we can say probability is equal to the number of ways of achieving success, the total number of possible outcomes. Now next is properties of probability. First property is property of the certain event, that is sure event is 1. Therefore probability of A is equal to probability of S is equal to 1. That means probability of the sure event or certain event. Second property is probability of any event is always positive and less than or equal to 1. So probability of any event, suppose we have event A, so probability of event A is in between 0 and 1, is always positive. Third is if A plus B represents the union of two mutually exclusive events, that is A and B, which do not occur simultaneously, therefore probability of A plus B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. Fourth property is probability of complement of A is equal to 1 minus probability of A. A bar, that is, represents the complement of A. Next, fifth property is if the events A and B are not mutually exclusive, then the probability of the union of A or B is probability of A plus B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A, B. This third is union of two mutually exclusive events, but this one last probability is probability or union of two events that are not mutually exclusive. Next is conditional probability. Conditional probability is a measure of the probability of an event given that by assumption, pre-assumption, assertion or by evidence another event has already occurred. Suppose if the event of interest is A and the event B is known or assumed to have occurred, then the conditional probability of A given B is usually written as probability of A by B. So this is probability A by B is probability of A given B, that is equal to probability of A into probability of B by A whole divided by probability of B. Now this probability B by A is probability of B when it is known that event A has occurred. This is also called Bayes rule, or other formula is the probability of B by A is equal to probability of B into probability of A by B whole divided by probability of A. Then next is probability of independent events. Independent events means two events are said to be independent of each other if the probability that one event occurs in no way affects the probability of other events occurring. Or we can also say, in other words, if we have observation about one event, it does not affect the probability of the other. So first one is joint probability, that is probability A comma B or AB is equal to probability of A into probability of B. And second one is conditional probability, that is probability of A by B is equal to probability A B by whole divided by probability of B, or probability of B by A is equal to probability of AB by probability of A. Now we will solve some examples related to probability. Now first question is, in a simple experiment of rolling a die, find out the probability of event that an odd number is thrown. Rolling a die means 6 possible outcomes, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the set is equal to contains 6 elements, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now the event that an odd number is thrown. Odd numbers from this set is only 3, that is 1, 3, 5. So the probability of event that an odd number is thrown, so probability of each outcome is 1 by 6. But there are 3 odd numbers, so probability of 1 is 1 by 6, probability of 3 is again 1 by 6, probability of 5 is 1 by 6. So it becomes 3 by 6, that is equal to 1 by 2. Next question is, write down the sample space for an experiment of tossing 3 coins simultaneously. Now tossing a coin means only 2 possibilities are there, that is head or tail. But now there are tossing 3 coins simultaneously. 3 coins simultaneously means at a time 3 can be a head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, tail, then tail, head, tail, head, tail, tail, head, and maybe a 3 can be tail. So this is a sample space for an experiment of tossing 3 coins simultaneously. Next, third question is, 2 dice are thrown. Determine the probability that the sum on dice is 6. Times means 6 outcomes, that possible outcomes, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6, but we want the sum that is equal to 6. So first possible outcome is 1 comma 5, then 2 comma 4, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 2, 5 comma 1. In all the cases the sum is 6. So the probability of first one is 1 by 6, 5 is 1 by 6, that is 1 by 36. Probability of 2 and 4 is again 1 by 36, 1 by 36, 4 comma 2 1 by 36, and last is also 1 by 36. By adding these all, that is equal to 5 by 36. Next is a coin is tossed 4 times in its succession. Determine the probability of obtaining exactly 3 heads. Suppose we have 4 coin is tossed 4 times, then the probability of obtaining exactly 3 heads is 4 by 16, that is equal to 1 by 4. Now next is random variables. A random variable is a variable whose possible values are numerical outcomes of a random experiment. We can also define it as it is used to signify a rule by which a real number is assigned to each possible outcome of an experiment. Now there are 2 types of random variables. First one is a discrete random variable, and second one is continuous random variable. Now first is discrete random variable. Discrete random variable is one which may take on only a countable number of distinct values such as 0, 1, 2, 3 up to so on. Discrete random variables are usually counts, or we can say if the sample space S contains a countable number of sample points. Suppose for example sample space S contains head comma tail, only 2 countable sample points or elements. Now second is continuous random variable. A continuous random variable is one which takes an infinite number of possible values. So continuous random variables are usually measurements. We can also say such a random variable generates an infinite number of outputs within a finite period of time. So the comparison between these 2 variables, that is discrete random variable and continuous random variable. First comparison in discrete is a variable which can take only certain values, but in continuous random variable, a variable which can take any value in a particular limit. Or we can say in discrete random variable means countable set of distinct values, but in continuous random variable any value within some interval. Next comparison in discrete is discrete data is counted, but in continuous data is measured. Third comparison in discrete is can take only integer values, never include decimals or fractions, but in continuous random variable can take values including fractions and decimals. The next comparison in discrete random variable is discrete data can take only certain values. For example, number of students in a class. You can't have 56.5 students. But in continuous data can take any value including decimal points within a range. For example, a person height could be any value within a range of human heights, that is 42 to 70 centimeters. Suppose a person height is 167.54 centimeter. So this is about random variables and 2 types of random variables. So this is in this lecture we just discussed the introduction to probability. Thank you.